Antelope Canyon is a masterpiece of sculpted sandstone, where the forces of water and wind have spent millennia carving solid rock into fluid, rhythmic waves, often described as a cathedral of stone. The canyon is world renowned for its surreal, flowing corridors that feel more like a dreamscape than a geological formation. The true magic of the canyon lies in its relationship with the sun. As light filters through the narrow ceiling cracks, it undergoes a breathtaking transformation. Welcome to Indulge and Beyond. Watch with us this breathtaking beauty of nature. Important how to get to canyon. Almost everyone uses Page as their home base. It's just 10 to 15 minutes drive from the town center to the tour office for both Upper and Lower Antelope Canyon. You can always fly into Phoenix and Las Vegas. It's 4.5 hours drive from both Phoenix and Las Vegas. Upper Antelope Canyon tickets generally cost between $95 and $150 per adult for a guided tour, with peak midday times commanding higher prices. A mandatory $15 Navajo permit fee is often added to the ticket price. Bookings are required and prices may vary by operator and season. Once you reach your allotted time, you will leave your car and they will take you in a bus or a shuttle to the spot.
It's a bumpy ride. It's a bumpy ride.
Antelope Canyon experiences a dramatic range of temperatures throughout the year due to its high desert location. Because the canyon is narrow and deep, it can often feel significantly cooler than the surface, especially in the shade. Mornings and evenings are quite chilly in the month of November when we were visiting. Midday tours are the most comfortable, but once you descend into the canyon, the lack of direct sunlight makes it feel even colder than the outside air. Make sure you go on your Android phone and go to the Pro and then change the settings, and the guide here will also walk you through and give you all the details. When you put that in Pro mode, you get better picture.
No, mine's already the best.
In Antelope Canyon, the guide are the bridge between you and the deep history of the Navajo Nation. Because the canyon is on sacred tribal land, every guide is a member of the Navajo people, often with ancestral ties to the very land we are walking on. Here is what makes a Navajo guide such a vital part of the experience. To the Navajo, Antelope Canyon is a place of respect. You'll hear stories passed down through generations, how their ancestors used these slots for their shelter, or how they once saw pronghorn antelopes gazing here in the winter. Your first amaze point. The Blue Lady of the Upper Canyon is a masterclass in how light and perspective work together to create a secret image. The formation isn't a piece of rock you look at, it's a piece of the sky you look through. As you reach to the beginning of the Upper Canyon and turn back to look toward the entrance, the towering jagged canyon walls frame a specific silver of the sky. From the right angle, the gap between the sky sandstone walls perfectly mimics the silhouette of a woman's head and torso looking upward. The stunning patterns you see in the Antelope Canyon are the result of geological process that spans nearly 200 million years. It's a story of ancient desert being frozen into stone, then carved back out by violent surges of water. Around 190 million years ago, during the Jurassic period, this part of Arizona was a massive desert. These towering sand dunes were eventually buried by other sediments. Over millions of years, the weight of the layers above and the presence of minerals cemented the sand into Navajo sandstone. you'll notice diagonal lines in the walls. These are called crossbeds, and they are actually the preserved slopes of those ancient wind-blown dunes. While the rock is ancient, the canyon itself is much younger. It was carved primarily by flash floods over the last few million years. When heavy rain hits the desert plateau above, the water has nowhere to go but into small cracks in the sandstone. As it rushes through, it picks up sands and debris, turning the water into a powerful abrasive slurry. This liquid sandpaper slurry, as it moves, eroding the soft sandstone unevenly. The circular motion of the flood water creates the smooth, undulating waves and deep hollow that give the canyon its fluid appearance. In the dry periods between floods, wind carries fine sand through the passages, further polishing and smoothing the walls to the finish you see today. It's a living masterpiece. The canyon is not finished. Every time a monsoon storm hits, a new flood rushes through. This means the canyon you visit today is slightly deeper and its curve slightly different than the one your grandparents might have visited 50 years ago. When you first enter, the light is intense, but as the walls twist and the ceiling narrows to just a few inches wide, you enter the deep chambers. It becomes noticeably cooler and darker. The noise of the wind and the other tour groups fades, replaced by a heavy muffled sound silence in the upper canyon. Because it is narrow at the top and wide at the bottom, the floor is much darker. This moody darkness is exactly what allows the famous light beams to look so bright. They are piercing through a dim, shadowy room. One of the best parts of the tour is when your guide stops, points laser or a finger at a seemingly random wall, and suddenly a hidden image appears. These formations are the soul of the canyon. The guides are masters at finding these. Here are a few of the ones we saw. The heart. The jagged edges of the canyon ceiling converge to frame a perfect symmetrical heart shape against the blue Arizona sky. And then you see a Monument Valley silhouette, the gap in the ceiling that perfectly mimics the famous parts of the Arizona desert. The Lion King, a rock formation that looks like a lion's head overlooking the savanna. The tsunami wave. The bedding creates the illusion of rushing water that was frozen in time mid-surge. You can also see a sunrise-like formation. The walk through Upper Antelope Canyon is surprisingly short in terms of distance, but it is packed with visuals that make it feel like much longer journey. While a quarter mile usually takes a few minutes, you will spend about 40 to 60 minutes inside this section. The reason is that your guide will stop frequently to show you the different formations and also take your pictures at the right spot. They give you enough time to enjoy the walk. After you spend about an hour mesmerized by the chambers and swirling formation inside the upper Antelope Canyon, the tour reaches its natural end. However, the journey back to the shuttle is a completely different experience. It's a top-down look at the desert landscape you were just under. As you walk through the final narrow passage of the canyon, the walls suddenly open up into a wide, bright wash. You have reached the end of the slot. You don't turn around and walk back through the canyon.
That's the cave we came out of. That's the canyon. Inside that is the upper canyon. So you walk inside that. Nobody would have guessed that, like just looking from here, right? It's there.
Instead, your guide will lead you to a series of steel staircases and ramps. To get back to the shuttles, you have to climb up and over the canyon. You'll climb roughly 120 to 150 feet via several stairs. Once you reach the top, you are walking on the roof of the canyon. If you look down to your side, you can see the thin, jagged cracks in the ground where you were just standing moments ago. It's a great moment to realize how small and deep the canyon actually is. The final stretch is a walk across the desert plateau back to the staging area where the buses are parked. You'll be walking through soft, deep sand. It feels a bit like walking on a beach, so make sure your shoes are tied tight so they don't fill with grit. This is where you get a 360-degree view of the Navajo Nation. You'll see the distant mesas, the sagebrush, and the vast Arizona sky. While the inside of the canyon is cool and shaded, the hike back is 100% exposed to the sun. Even in November, the desert sun can feel intense. If you are visiting in summer, this 15 to 20-minute walk can be very hot. It's a great time to take wide-angle photos of the group with the desert landscape in the background.
That's the canyon where we went from there. So that's the upper canyon. So we came out from the other side, and this is the entry.
The path leads you directly back to the parking area where your tour's shuttle bus is waiting. Once the whole group is gathered, you'll hop back in for the bumpy, dusty ride back to the main office in Page. Here is a pro tip for you. Keep your camera or phone tucked away or in a pocket during this part of the hike. The wind on top of the plateau often kicks up fine silt and sand, which can be tough on your camera lenses and charging cables.
It's a bumpy ride.
Journey through Upper Antelope Canyon concludes with a deeper connection to the living history of the Navajo Nation. You leave with a profound respect for the power of water and the rich cultural heritage shared by your Navajo guides. The canyon reminds us that the most beautiful things on earth are often hidden just beneath the surface. Thank you so much for joining Indulge and Beyond in this episode. We hope the cinematic views and travel tips help you plan your own pilgrimage to this desert cathedral. If you love this journey through the Slot Canyons, please subscribe, like, and share this video to help our community of explorers grow. We want to hear from you. What was your favorite part of the tour? Was it the Blue Lady silhouette, or the towering tsunami wave, or the story shared by your Navajo guides? Please leave us a comment below. And join us for our next exciting episode where we take you to more exciting journeys around the world. Till then, keep indulging. Goodbye.